Hi, we are back again with Julian. So Julian has talked to us about a few topics, really cool topics. I really enjoyed conversations with him. We've talked about staff engagement, we've talked the big one, culture, and today we're here talking about performance management. So yeah, welcome back, Julian. Still here, still strong.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to comment about my shirt. I'm sure you've noticed it's the same shirt. So in production, normally, like she would change so that she lets you believe it's different days, but we shot this in one
It's a
afternoon.
different day.
And my wardrobe guys didn't come through. But at the same time, Giorgio Armani, one of the greatest designers in the world, dresses the same every day. So you don't really know if this is the same shirt or it's different. So think about that. But thanks for having me. And you look lovely as always.
Thank you. Yeah,
In every episode.
Every episode, I look
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Cool. So today we're talking performance management.
Yeah.
Another topic. I mean, that's why I want to talk about it. Something because I really do believe when people are thriving and doing what they believe in and fulfill them, and they know the purpose, just everything we've talked about.
Yeah.
That performance just goes above the roof.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is performance management?
I think performance management is about, now this is from the organization's point of view. Are you getting the best out of your team?
Yeah.
Are you achieving your goals? And how I look at performance management, it's even as a term, it's a big phrase, performance management. But performance management is keeping score.
Keeping score.
It's keeping score. That's really what it's about. And there are, I think it's Jack Welch again who said, if you don't measure it, it won't be done.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the best way I ever got a descriptor of why performance management is important was from a guy called, I'm trying to remember his name, but there's a book called 4DX published by the Franklin Covey House. And they give the example of it's like playing a sports game without a scoreboard.
Imagine.
And I mean, there would be no reason,
no purpose,
no direction, no purpose, and you don't even know how you're doing.
Yeah.
So for me, performance management is just for you to get feedback on how you're performing. So it's about, am I doing well? Am I not doing well? And you can imagine the frustration of doing something and you don't know if you're getting better at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to definitely measure progress.
Exactly. Yeah. And another key thing, I think previously we had talked about the issue of autonomy, purpose, clarity. Another big one is mastery. So another thing that keeps people engaged, people on a job, is mastery. If you feel you're getting better. So boredom tends to check in, like in video games. If you're playing a game, after a while, if you get to level 10 or the last level too soon, the game is boring.
Yeah.
But you find these popular games like Fortnite, I don't know, War of the Worlds, no one has ever finished the game.
Candy Crush.
You see? Candy Crush, of course, world's, I think, biggest Android game. So as long as it keeps getting more complex, there are more twists. But even Candy Crush, how are you being managed by performance? I think you get diamonds and points. You see? So as long as you're moving forward, as long as there's some sense of mastery, you get excited. And once you master your role within an organization, you now begin to look outward. So you'll say, maybe we manufacture lollipops.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are mastering the recipe, the technique. It doesn't melt too fast. It's not too hard, then we get it right. Then we are selling. Then we start saying, okay, who else makes lollipops? So now you take your challenge outside.
Yeah.
After you're done with Kenya, you say, hey, anyone else in Africa? And that's how it grows. Then one day you're like the Cadburys or the Kit Kats of this world and say, we have the best chocolate. We have the best chewing gum in the world.
Okay, cool.
And you're up there. So I think that's what performance management is about. It's about ensuring people are achieving their goals within budget and on time.
And I like the keeping score.
Keeping score. So you're seeing that you're improving. Because if you're not tracking how you're doing, how do you know whether you're moving forward, backward, sideways?
Cool. So where do you start? Do you start at setting the KPIs? Is that where you start with performance management? And how do you go about that?
Yeah. What's KPIs?
Key performance indicator.
All right. Okay, thanks. So performance management for me is about tracking your progress towards a goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about how far are we from the end. Now, I believe for you to set performance management, the first thing is you need to have a SMART goal. and a SMART goal being the acronym. So
Yeah.
S, specific,
Measurable.
measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a SMART goal in the first place, it's impossible to measure it.
Yeah.
So that's why it says what can't be measured won't be done.
Yes.
So if I set a goal, we want to go to Neptune, and I leave it at that, how will we know if we are closer there? Is it by how far we get into out of outer space? Is it certain technologies we need to develop on the ground? Because a lot of the work is done on the ground before you start moving. Like I love skyscrapers, because you hear blasting, digging, trucks. Most of the noise is during the foundation stage, but there's nothing to see. Then suddenly in 6 months, like, whoa, when did that building come? But the truth is, for 2 years, they've been doing the building blocks. But even at that stage, they are measuring. So they'll say, we need to excavate X number of tons every day. And if you don't do that, you will not hit your target of, say, opening the building in 2 years.
Yeah.
You see? So you set the end goal. However, if no building of that stage has ever been done in 2 years, why would you tie yourself to a goal that has never been done? Unless you have special concessions, maybe you're the government, so you have the resources, or you have some technology that will help you, or budget. So if stadiums take an average of a year, for you to say, we want to build a stadium in 3 months, everything is possible, but now there are trade-offs, cash, investment, human resource, technology, whatever. So the organization has to set the goal first.
Yeah.
Before you start talking to the team.
Yeah.
And when I say organization, it's a CEO has to have KPIs.
Yes.
There has to be, and the CEO could say, this year, I want to grow revenues by 10%, for example. Or this year, I want us to distribute to 1 million households mosquito nets. That could be your goal if you're, let's say, in the civil society or NGO space. So you set the goal. After you set the goal, now it's unpacked down to every department, and everyone can have a KPI. Sometimes people will say in some industries, oh no, but me, I'm a designer, me, I'm just a painter. Even painters, you can set KPIs. They look different. They may be measured in unique ways or unorthodox ways, but you have to create performance indicators. Someone needs to know if I'm winning or losing.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's when you're watching a sports game, whatever sports game you like, why are the scores always put there? I don't know, ball possession, strikes on target. Why is that tracking? Because it builds up to the end. So if you created a process that takes 10 days to do, if by day 5 you have not started, highly unlikely you'll pull it off in the 10 days, if it takes 10 days, right? So that's why performance management exists. But the key thing is you have to track the right things.
Yes.
You have to track the right things. You have to measure the right things. If you measure the wrong things, you get more of something, yes, but it may not be more of what you need or more of what you want.
So from your experience, what do you think the right things to track are? Is it right to track?
Yeah.
What are the right things to track?
I think the right things to track are the ones that feed into the organization's business or goals. So an example would be, let me pick maybe a situation that affects most organizations, sales. You have a product you're selling. So let's track sales. So we say we have a target this year to sell 10,000 pieces of our branded mugs. Maybe we create mugs. Or hoodies, whatever the case may be. So it's 10,000 hoodies a year. So in theory, if there are 10,000 hoodies a year, even let me use a simpler maths number, we want to sell 12,000 a year. So it means every month we should sell at least 1,000. Okay. Then every week we should sell 250. Every day we should sell 50. So you're able to say, and you can even bring it down to an hour and say that means every hour we must sell 25 hoodies. Then we ask ourselves, what do we need to do as an organization to make sure we can move 10 hoodies an hour or 250 a day? So it could either be at our shops or it could be by our website, whatever systems you create. So if you have someone, say, who does social media marketing, you tell them, I need you to create, say, maybe if we've discovered that every time we post the hoodies, if we get 100 likes, 5 people buy. So if we want to sell 10 an hour, we need 200 likes, so we get the 10. So you'll tell a social media person, for you, your target is to get me 200 likes. The target for them won't be hoodies sold. That will be a measure we are pursuing. But at their level, that's the most important thing. Maybe the guys who do the dispatch, after someone has paid for the hoodie, we need to deliver. We'll tell them, okay, transport department, these hoodies must go out every day. So what will it take to get 250 hoodies delivered daily.
Every
Then
day,
they'll
yeah.
say we need at least maybe 5 border riders. One will position in this area. So we can say, okay, in fact, so that you don't always come to head office, we'll rent a room and store some hoodies to reduce the time, like what Amazon does.
Yeah.
So Amazon looks at an area, the most frequently ordered items, they keep stock there.
Yeah.
So now they are cutting their timings to like minutes now.
Yeah, it is,
right?
yeah.
So that's what they're doing, because for them, it's all about logistics, all about delivery. Now, if you've set those KPIs, you look at who else has an implication. So there's a manufacturing, there's a person who has to buy the fabric for the hoodies, someone has to print the hoodies, someone has to tag the hoodies, there's finance to track the sales. So now you're able to tell them in accounts, every day you must receipt to 50 hoodies, do your part.
Yeah.
So they'll be able to say, we did 80 today. Why? Because only 80 were sold. So our target, we've achieved our target of ensuring every hoodie was tagged, was sold, receipted. That's what we are meant to do, but we are dependent on others. So for you to tell accounts, no, you're failing, they'll say, but we don't sell the hoodies.
Yeah.
So if you harass them about sales, they'll be frustrated and they'll never hit their performance indicators.
Yeah.
You see, so it's harassing the goalkeeper why there are not enough goals
Yes.
in the game.
I love
but
that.
they're not accountable for the goals.
Yeah.
They're accountable for winning.
Yeah.
So what you'll tell the goalkeeper, your KPI is number of goals conceded.
Yes.
So your target is 0.
Yeah.
Or 1.
1.
Yeah. Striker, your target is to score at least 2 goals.
Yeah.
So you'll measure that. You'll say maybe someone in midfield or infield or whatever sport, your target is to ensure you pass the ball X number of times or you maintain ball possession. So those start becoming your KPIs, which are reasonable.
Yeah.
You tell the coach, your KPI will be out of 5 games, at least 50% you must win.
Yeah.
You see, suddenly now it starts cascading. Whoever supplies water and towels, you tell them now, the team, when they come for halftime, they want warm, toasty towels. So for you to ensure they are toasty towels.
Yeah.
And if they're not enough, then there's a problem. So we will measure your KPI on how fast we distributed the towels and how happy the players are. So maybe you do a survey every so often and ask players, how happy are you with the towel person? Say, oh, we are happy.
Yeah.
They're perfect. They're great personality. So we'll say you've hit your KPIs. But to tell the towel person, we missed the match we lost
because
you're not performing.
Yeah.
And that's why in an organization, you should even be able to have some people met their KPIs, others didn't.
Yes.
But the organization may have not met.
Yes.
But you should not punish people for the entire organization's problems.
Yeah.
Because sometimes a security guard, your KPI is to ensure quick opening of the gate.
Yeah.
Security, you take details of all people coming in and out.
Yes.
That's your KPI. If you meet your KPI, you're doing your job well.
Great.
Now,
Yeah.
if you're not able to sell the hoodies, that's nothing to do with you. However, if because of you taking long to open the gate, signing people in is delaying sales, is delaying orders, now you're impacting the business. So we can choose to say, we're going to put a KPI, you must open the gate within 30 seconds, because we've realized there's a correlation that if the gate is opened fast, customers are served faster. So you have to look at the organization, but tied to your big goals. So don't create KPIs of you must be at work at 8 a.m.
Yeah,
Does coming at 8 impact your sales?
No.
If it does, yes.
Then
if it doesn't, if you're a shop, yes, it probably helps to open on time. But if you sell like an ERP software solution, I don't think coming at 8 a.m. necessarily will make you close a sale for a complex computer system. Maybe for you, your KPI will be you need to call at least 3 new prospects every day. That's what we'll measure, because we believe the more you call, 1 or 2 is bound to come through.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's move now to the appraisal. So like, when should they be happening? How often should they happen? Yeah. What's the cadence for that?
Yeah. So for me, on appraisals and even let me touch something on KPIs. Number 1, for me, KPIs, I don't think you should have more than 4 at any level.
Okay.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
So every job has its day-to-day work, but identify 3 or 4 big things you'll pursue. And this is to the spirit of creating autonomy.
Yeah.
If you're measuring and nitpicking on everything, someone feels suffocated and micromanaged. So it's about telling someone, look, these 3 things are the most important to me. Unilever, one of the largest food companies in the world, they normally have 3 KPIs annual for the entire organization.
Oh, wow.
Only 3. In fact, they have a concept called, I think, 3+1. So you're given 3 KPIs, then there's always one extra, so that in case you blow your first 3 out of the water and you're idle the rest of the year, there's an extra bonus,
Yeah.
but it's not mandatory.
Okay.
So, and you see how hard is it to remember 3 things?
It's super easy.
It's easy.
Yeah.
But I've seen KPI documents in companies, you turn pages
Yeah.
and you wonder why no one hits. It's because it's just too much to track. So for me, I recommend first 3 or 4 big pieces. So this is so you have the global ones at a corporate, then finance have their 3, engineering, sales, marketing, I don't know, front office, customer care, 2 or 3 big things they are pursuing. Chances are, the fewer they are going to achieve them. And if they do, it's easy to set up new ones. It's easier, instead of having 20 that look colorful, pick 3. And then we move. Kenya Vision 2030, I think, had like 30 KPIs.
Which
and
ones
that's
have
why
we met?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, yeah? But if they picked 2 and just said we want to eradicate poverty and provide healthcare, I can assure you, all day, you'd spend half your morning thinking of poverty, the other half, I think you'll see progress.
Yeah,
and that's the
sense.
Power of focus.
Yeah.
So once you set that up, you set up the KPIs. Now, most organizations do appraisals annually.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of studies that have shown when you do appraisals annually, you have a concept called recency bias. You make judgments and decisions based on what has happened the last 1 month or last quarter. So you may find the beginning half of the year I was doing so well. Second half, for one reason or another, things weren't working. But see, now I'll be held for the most recent incident. So I believe appraisals at some level, it would be lovely if they're done monthly at, let's say, line manager. So if you have a team of 5-6 people, meet them monthly. How are you doing? What's happening? And the whole idea is to nip any problem. Not that in December, maybe when many people are doing appraisals, you're being told of a problem that started in March that's gone out of control. And it's something we could have fixed. Or someone will tell you, I couldn't do it because finance said that they're waiting for the auditors. So the auditors eventually came in July, but even you forgot. So you ignored it. But if you do it frequently, and it could be as simple as a 30-minute session monthly, where you sit down and look at the 2 or 3 things, say how are we doing on each. And if this goal is meant to be met in 2 quarters or in 1 year, every month you should be moving 1/12 closer to your goal. So there's no magic that January to October, no movement, then just say, don't worry, November, unless it's an event. So some KPIs are tied to one big thing. It could be like maybe annually as an organization or an industry, something big happens in a certain month. Maybe you're in the industry of maybe you do Christmas-related products. You make, I don't know, Santa Claus. So December is your peak season. Or like the hotel industry. We know they have like 3-4 months. Like in the Mara, during migration, you close your year. So everything leads toward that. So it could be saying, have we done and set up everything? Have we got enough bookings that we are sure during peak season, every night we'll have that? So you can't say when the peak season comes, is when you say, okay, now let's see how we are doing. By then, you should be knowing we are at 60%. 70%, but because we know after a certain point we can't change. Those who are coming are coming. After this, we wait another year. So those are some of the things to look at. So for me, appraisal, I recommend do a quick handshake or catch up monthly, have a slightly larger one quarterly, and then do the main one. And what this does, you have a history of conversations, discussions, so that if I ask Wangare, we talked about this in March. I asked you to be more proactive. We discussed that you need to do more calls, do more networking. How come you've not done it? So you can't ask them about March in December. Because you'll ask them about March in April. In April, if it's not moving, so you will know. You'll say, okay,
keep in score, keep in
we've
check.
been talking about networking, it's not happening. How can I help you? So appraisals also stop being a scary exam. It's continuous assessment, And when you have continuous assessment, what happens? People are more open. The line managers are more in touch with what's happening in the business, and you begin to see connections because you begin to realize, hang on, I've noticed every time I meet you, you're not hitting this goal, but all your colleagues are meeting. Then you can begin to say, maybe you need further development, or maybe it's a discipline issue. The person is just not accepting to do their part or carry their weight. And I always say the beauty of such appraisals, even if someone is being let go, it should not be a surprise. It shouldn't be like, oh my God, I didn't know. But if your appraisals have not been going well for a whole year, even you'll realize, this is not working for me. So I think for me, appraisals, the more frequent, the better. So it's like going through primary school and you wait for one exam, KCP. Can you imagine? So you'd never know if you've been doing maths wrong all your life. So that's the importance of continuous feedback, and humans rely on feedback.
Yes, we do.
And sometimes appraisal doesn't have to be a formal process where you're filling forms. It could be as simple as a weekly check-in. And just say,
Conversation.
hey, how is that project going? Are you on top of things? Any problem? Do you believe we'll hit our targets? Yes, no. No, why not?
What can
Yes,
we do?
why?
Yeah.
What have you done to be so confident? Great, go ahead. Then it takes away that tension of appraisal is about whether I'll be fired, whether I'll get a memo. We have to break it down.
Okay, cool. So just speaking on good performance, like if you're a good performer, does that necessarily mean you'll get the promotion or how?
Yeah.
And I know some organizations tie appraisals to bonuses and that kind of stuff. So let's talk about that a bit.
Yeah, and that's a controversial issue. So my philosophy or my approach, my school of thought on that is that performance management is for the current job, the current role. Okay. So if I'm a very good accountant, I should get a bonus for achieving my KPIs or exceeding them.
Yes.
Right? However, it doesn't mean I'm promoted to the next level because the next level requires a different set of skills.
Okay.
Yeah. So I believe first, as a principle, a promotion should not be a reward.
Okay.
A promotion is because you are capable.
Yes, exactly.
Okay? Now, because the striker has been scoring well, they should not become the coach. So that's the reasoning that since you've been performing so well,
they will promote.
Yes. Or goalkeeper, you've been an amazing goalkeeper. We are promoting you to defender because it's now you're on the field.
Yeah.
You see how illogical it sounds.
Yeah, so it's very.
But you find in organizations, people keep being promoted and it gets worse and worse and worse because this person was good at the previous job. The new job is a whole new world.
Yeah.
If I can use another colloquial example, you're an amazing nurse, we are promoting you to a doctor. You're an amazing cabin steward, now you're a pilot. You see, there is no connection.
Yeah.
However, if there's an opening for a pilot in that airline, you have the qualification and skills, feel free. So it's your job, you'll say, I've been promoted, but to me, I always prefer to say I have a new role. Promotion for me is where we are accountants, then I become a senior accountant. So we are all doing the same role, but I have additional responsibilities.
Yeah.
You see, and I have to have the skills to do that. But you find situations where the star player is promoted and become a horrible manager because it doesn't mean that because you're so good at doing this, it's not transferable.
Yeah.
So for me, I believe for performance management, pay people bonuses, don't give them a pay raise because the job they're doing is the same.
Yeah, okay.
So if I was an amazing security guard, doesn't mean I should be promoted to become a receptionist.
Yeah.
If you're thinking in terms of the admin space.
Yeah.
I'm just a really, really good security guard. So maybe you can make me in charge of the others. You can make me a supervisor. But my skill set is for security work.
Yeah.
So you can give me a bonus or continue doing the job. That's an amazing job. Or you're my personal bodyguard. What's the next job? You can't become me. I can't make you, that's it. That's the highest point in that capacity.
Yeah.
And the reason it's important to do that is even when you're setting salaries for people, you pay salaries based on the work, not on the person.
Yeah.
And that's a really critical point because if I have a PhD,
yes,
but the job position was for gate man or gate woman,
yes,
you will not pay me more than my colleague because I have a PhD. Because a PhD is not required for the job.
Yeah.
So we'll pay you the job because the job requires you to vet people at the gate. We are paying you for that service.
Yes.
Good for you, you have a PhD. We don't know why you've taken the job, no judgment.
Yeah.
However, if a certain job requires a PhD skill, we will load it in the salary or load it in the package because it requires analytical thinking, high-level responsibility, whatever the case may be. So for me, performance management is a reward for doing the current job.
A reward for doing the current job.
Yes. Then promotion pay rise should be new responsibilities.
Yes.
Because if you give someone a pay rise for performing well, in effect, you're paying them for last year's work.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Even in sports, when they trade an athlete, yes, you had a good season, but they're paying you a premium because they expect more. So the one who'll ever hire you and say, wow, I heard you did X amount for this company. If you do the same, but we'll pay more. It doesn't even make sense. People are expecting you to do better.
Do better,
You see? And that's why all these contracts have those clauses. You have to maintain a certain service level, right? So that's the key thing people need to understand. So what happens is a lot of people push their organizations. So there's a general issue of cost of inflation, cost
Yes,
of
yes, yes.
living. That's fine. The company is doing better. But the reason you'd rather pay people a bonus, it's more sustainable.
Yes, it is.
Because next year, if business is not good, but you
Yeah.
added everyone's salaries, then you start harassing your team to work harder, to push harder. And sometimes they're at the peak of the market. Or
Yeah.
like in this depressed economy, there's just not enough money
yeah.
to go around.
Yeah.
So you're flogging your staff because you pay them such a high salary, you start feeling the pain.
Yeah.
You'd rather pay people a sustainable amount than reward them with bonuses. So when things are good, we all share.
Yeah.
When things are down, at least we have the base operating. So I think it's very important to separate performance management and the whole concept about pay raises and promotions. To me, those are like two separate issues.
Awesome.
Totally, yeah. And that's where a lot of pain comes.
Yeah,
Where you find
I
someone
agree.
saying, we do the same job, but Wangari is paid more. But it's because Wangari was more eloquent in the interview.
Yeah.
She defended herself better. But if the job we are doing is exactly the same,
Yes.
we should be paid the same. If the job requires 2 years experience, but you have 10,
Yes.
either way, all I needed was 2.
2 years
So I
experience.
shouldn't pay you for the other 8. It has no value to me.
Yeah.
Unless it is a job like a surgeon or a pilot,
Where you
they
need
come and
that.
say, you have 8,000 hours, I have 5,000, you're worth more. You
Yeah.
have more skills than I am. So you will be paid more because in a crisis, we believe because of your years,
You'll
you will make
know the
better
knowledge.
decisions. So there it makes sense. But to promote someone because they did well, and they're still doing the same job. So I'm talking about you're a graphic designer. Next year, you're still a graphic. You will not be reason to like art director
Yeah.
or to creative director. You're doing the exact same job. It's a recipe for disaster.
Okay.
Because you'll keep adding salaries. And government had a problem for a long time before we set up the salaries commission. So you'd find government used to say, if you have a master's, you get a certain premium. So you'd find someone is a messenger, but who has a master's, but the job is still a messenger.
Yeah,
so a
wow.
messenger would be paid $2,000 a month, more than even managers in that organization. Because what did they go do? They discovered, when you have a degree,
You get paid
get
more.
a default extra 50K. When you have a master's, this, but the job doesn't require, in fact, the person's master's is in forestry.
Yeah, wow.
But the job, you're literally an office messenger, but you're being paid because of your perceived value. But see, that doesn't make sense because if Julian, who doesn't have a master's, now joins the company, will you now downgrade the role? You see, you get into very murky waters.
that becomes-
And this becomes a problem as your organization grows. And back to the piece on culture. So this is where now equity, fairness, consistency comes into play. So we say, hey, look, this is the job. And maybe lastly on that part, if I was, let me use a security guard again, maybe I was being paid 1,000 shillings. Maybe the receptionist role is 5,000. But we say, hey, but the security, even if you give them 2,000, we've doubled their salary.
Yeah.
They'll be so excited.
Yeah.
No. What you do, you start them on the 5K because the work, the way it's been designed, should be paid 5,000. Now, if they perform badly, then you let them go. But don't pay them low and say, so that we have room to grow. So most capitalists do that. It's the culture, but it's not right. Because tomorrow, if the person learns that, actually the budget for this job was 5,000, Bob. So for the last 2 years, you've been making me earn less. But you see, they're doing the work. It's not that they're giving you work worth 2,000. You're still expecting them to perform at the reception level from day one. So I always joke and say, every time there's a new president, they've never done the job before. So can you imagine if they said, we are putting you on probation for 6 months, we see how it goes, then we'll review. But from day one, you start being president. You're paid full packs. It doesn't matter. You can be impeached after 3 months, you can be ousted, but for the period you're in office, you're paid the full because you're being paid for the responsibility.
Yeah.
Now, whether you do it well or not is a performance issue now.
Okay.
Then we can have issues of warning letters, issues of performance improvement, and then eventually there's a whole system of how you can part ways.
Yeah.
But you can't tell someone, I'll pay you low because you're new to the job. Because even when I'm new, you still expect me to perform at
that level.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think we've covered a lot on performance management. Anything else you wanted to shed some light on this topic?
Not really. I think, I think for me, the key thing is to be clear on what you're tracking.
Yes.
And make sure it links to what the business is doing.
Yeah.
And then the other piece is around separating promotions, bonuses, salaries. Those are like 3 different conversations, and avoid merging them
Yeah.
together. And it's important also to keep communicating to your team that your work is great, that consistent feedback, and you're great at your job, but you're not ready for the next level. Or you're great at the job, there's no opening. Because sometimes there's only one CEO. So
Yeah.
you remain deputy CEO until that CEO moves on
Yeah.
or stops performing. So it's important to let that person know at this juncture, especially in founder-led organizations, you'll never replace the founder.
Yeah, exactly.
So what you do is you think of other ways
Yeah.
of investing. And performance management also has to do with incentives and motivation.
Okay.
So you also have to look at how else do I keep these people engaged. When you give people a target, you're telling them, I pay you a salary to perform a basic level.
Yeah.
But now I'm giving you this target, which is slightly out of beyond what is required of you. So what's in it for them? You always have to ask yourself, what's in it for the person?
Yeah, exactly.
People are given a target and told, and we even do it to children. If you pass your exams, if you're
Yeah.
top 5, I'll do this. So that's a driving factor. And that's the same way performance management works. So some organizations, after appraisals, you're told, okay, good job. Thanks. See you. Have a lovely holiday. See you in the new year.
Yeah.
Then next year, you wonder why no one is bothering.
Yeah.
Because if the person is going to stretch and push themselves
And get no reward
exactly.
at the end.
So
yeah.
performance management, you have the one that is to maintain service levels. Then you can have another layer where you want to push because everyone wants to grow.
Grow
People
and,
are driven when they have a pursuit.